Manchester United news. I wanted to come on the channel this afternoon and talk about Donny van de Beek. I was meant to do this video yesterday. It was meant to go yesterday afternoon. Unfortunately, I had other stuff to sort out, so I wasn't able to do it. So I do apologise for anybody who was waiting to watch this yesterday. So let's get straight into the show this afternoon about Donny van de Beek. I mean, his career at Manchester United hasn't really started at all, is it? I feel really sorry for him. I watched him at Ajax a few times, and I thought he looked a really good player for Ajax. When it was announced that Manchester United were going to sign him, I felt confident that he would come into this midfield. And he would be that type of player that we've been looking for quite a while in that midfield position. But it hasn't happened at all. And there's going to be a lot of questions asked over this transfer, because when he was brought to Manchester United, apparently it was a player that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted. But then he wasn't playing Donny van de Beek, and I think it confused a lot of Manchester United fans why he wasn't breaking into this Manchester United team. I spoke to United fans about this before, and they said when you look at the fact that when Scott McTominay and Fred were getting in the team over him, a lot of United fans were annoyed at that because they thought Donny van de Beek was a better player. Donny van de Beek, he's had the opportunity to come into this Manchester United team. He's been given a chance. Has he taken those chances in this Manchester United team? No. I think we've seen glimpses of what Donny van de Beek can do at Manchester United, but hasn't been good enough. And I think there will be Manchester United fans out there who will agree with that. I've spoken to people about whether they feel it's the right thing to move Donny van de Beek on social media, and they said yes. A lot of United fans said, it's unfair to keep Donny van de Beek at the club if we're not going to be playing him. Because, Donny van de Beek, he wants consistent football, and he's not going to get that at Manchester United, especially now with the fact that United have brought in Casemiro as well. So he's not. He's not going to get the opportunity. I don't think he's going to get an opportunity at Manchester United. Again, I don't think we'll see him. I personally think that Donny van de Beek will now be sold in January. But again, this is a really poor move by the football club. I think it wasn't looked. Maybe the fact that the board and the people that were scouting him for, because he was doing so well for Ajax, that he would come into the Premier League and he would do the same. We all know how hard the Premier League is, and some players come into the Premier League and they do fantastic, and other players come to the Premier League and they just don't make it at all. And I think that's what's happening with. I think that's what's happened with Donny van de Beek. As we know, we went on loan to Everton, but I thought when he went on loan to Everton, I thought, this is his opportunity now to prove what he can do in the Premier League. But even when he was on loan to Everton, it just never worked out for him at all. So maybe there's a factor. Donny van de Beek is just one of these players who just isn't suited to the Premier League. He did very well over in the Dutch league. But we all know that the Premier League is completely different. He spent around about 35 million pounds on Donny van de Beek. We're not going to get that in return. I think when we sell Donny van de Beek in January, if a club comes in for it, if a club did come in for Donny van de Beek in the January transfer window, we're probably looking around about 12 to 14 million pound mark, because clubs aren't going to. A club isn't going to come in January and table a bid for 25 million for Donny van de Beek. We know that. And that's the subject, that's the topic of the story. It looks like Erik ten Hag is ready to cut his losses. He can see that this transfer, maybe Donny van de Beek can see. Maybe Erik Ten Hag can see that that Donny van de Beek just isn't suited at Manchester United, and the best thing to do is to move him away from the club and let him go to play. Let him go to another club and get some game time, because I think it's unfair to keep Donny van de Beek at the club. If he's not going to be used, yes, he might make the odd appearance if Erik Ten Hag is rotating the team. He might come on the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes of games, but that's not what Donny van de Beek will want. And I think I speak on behalf of all United fans here. We can't just let him sit on the bench. He's a professional footballer, and he should be allowed. If he's not needed at the club, he should be allowed to move on. And I think this is the issue that Erik Ten Hag is going to face until he builds his own team at Manchester United. Because when you look at the players that have been brought in by previous managers, the likes of Fred, Harry Maguire, there's a few others as well. These players, in my opinion, they shouldn't be at Manchester United. Harry Maguire did very well at Leicester. Is he good enough to play in this Manchester United team? In my opinion, no. The same with Fred. Some United fans will say that he's improved this season. He's put in some good performances. He has put in some really good performances. He has put in some good performances. But I think the problem with Fred is that he's so inconsistent, and he's not the type of player. When you look at a starting lineup, he's not the type of player that an opposition manager will think, oh, Fred's playing. He's going to be controlling that Manchester United midfield. We're going to struggle against Fred, because he's, at times, I think he's not one of those players that you would highly rate at all. And like I said, I think Erik Ten Hag is going to struggle to move some of these players on. And again, it comes down to poor scouting at the football club. It comes down to poor decision making by previous managers at this football club. And I think we can all see the mess that the football club has been in for the last 10 seasons. We're starting to see a turning point where the football is a lot better, especially this season. I think we need to write off last season. It's a brand new season. This season, Erik Ten Hag come in. Didn't start off brilliant, but since then, the performances have definitely improved, and you can definitely see what Ten Hag is doing here. But going back on to Donny van de Beek. I feel sorry for the lads. I've been to Old Trafford, where I heard United fans singing out his name when he's been warming up during games. And I think there are some United fans who believe that he could have a future at Manchester United. At Manchester United, and there would have been other fans who feel that he's just not good enough to be at the club. So it would be interesting to see what happens with Donny van de Beek. I think he will go in January. Whether another Premier League club will come in for Donny van de Beek, we'll have to wait and see. He may decide that he wants to go back. He may decide he might want to go back to Holland to play in the Dutch league. Some people will say that he would be better suited to go and play abroad, because the Premier League, when you look at the Premier League, the pace of the Premier League is huge. There's a huge difference between the Premier League and other European leagues. I think if you watch European football, you'll see the difference in the style of play. So yeah, I just wanted to come on and discuss the Donny van de Beek situation. Like I say, I thought when he came to the club, I watched him when he was at Ajax. I thought he looked a promising young lad, and I thought he would come into this. Like I said, I thought he'd come into this team and do well in the field. Hasn't happened, unfortunately, but we've seen it before with players who've come to the Premier League and come to United, and it hasn't worked out. And unfortunately, I think with Donny van de Beek, it is one of those situations again. And I think Erik Ten Hag needs to do the right thing, and if he's not part of his plans at Manchester United, then he does need to be moved on. So leave your comments in the comment box below. Let me know what you think about Donny van de Beek. Do you think he's still got a future at Manchester United? Do you think he can break into this Manchester United midfield? Or do you think the best thing to do is just let Donny van de Beek leave Manchester United and let him go and play consistent football, whether it's done in the Premier League or abroad? Smash a like on the video if you've enjoyed watching. Keep on subscribing to the channel on the bottom right hand corner. Also, make sure you watch Gavin's video of the match reaction from last night's game against SG Sheriff. That's going to be up a bit later on this afternoon, so make sure you give that a watch as well. Me and Gavin will be back. So I'll be back tomorrow with the latest Manchester United news. Me and Gavin will be back over the weekends to do the look ahead and the match reaction to the West Ham game on Sunday. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. I'll speak to you soon.